You can close your eyes and find absolute stillness in a room like this. But even here, your ears are processing a relentless, invisible chaos. Evolution never gave us earlids. Our auditory system is always on, constantly pulling in data from every direction. For our ancestors, a twig snapping in the dark was a matter of life and death. This timeline shows average human decibel exposure over the centuries. The recent spike reveals an environment entirely alien to our biology. This constant exposure rewires baseline stress, driven by two distinct forces: accidental infrastructure rumble and sounds highly engineered to capture attention. This results in persistent physiological strain, seen in elevated resting heart rates and an increasingly fragile focus. Navigating the modern world requires recognizing that the air around you is an active battleground. Your brain is constantly fighting a two-front war against the noise you are trying to ignore and the specific sounds designed to move you. This battle begins with the macro environment. Stand in any city or suburb, and you will hear the low-frequency drone of massive HVAC fans pumping air through concrete and steel. Add to that the friction of millions of rubber tires on asphalt, the distant rumble of diesel shipping logistics, and the 60 Hz vibration of the electrical grid. Together, they form a heavy, continuous blanket of sound. Acousticians call this acoustic masking. It happens when a broad, continuous layer of sound physically covers up softer, more delicate auditory cues, like the wind moving through trees or a conversation across a street. As this wave structure illustrates, a thick, continuous low-frequency drone literally buries those smaller, sharper environmental sounds. This forces your brain's auditory processing centers to work in overdrive just to filter the noise and pull out useful information. This constant biological strain drains your cognitive bandwidth and spikes cortisol. Your nervous system stays in a continuous state of low-grade alert, draining your energy before you even start your day. Throughout most of human history, loud noises were rare and signaled immediate physical danger, a predator roaring or a rockfall. Once the danger passed, the silence returned, and the nervous system reset. Today, that reset never comes. This macro drone is the biologically taxing exhaust fume of industrialization, an accidental byproduct of the machines that sustain our infrastructure. But zoom in close to the screen in your hand, and the soundscape changes. Here, we leave the accidental noise of the city and enter the realm of hyper-intentional microsounds. This intimate space is governed by psychoacoustics, the study of how specific audio frequencies interact with your nervous system to trigger targeted psychological responses. Audio engineers apply this science to design perfectly harmonious chimes. When you complete a task or send money, that bright, uplifting ding bypasses logical processing and goes straight to your reward centers, triggering a satisfying hit of dopamine. This diagram reveals the underlying design. On the left is the smooth, resolved sine wave of a successful action. On the right is a jagged, asymmetrical, unfinished wave, the exact structure used for a low battery alert or an error message. That jagged asymmetry is mathematically dissonant. It creates a physical sensation of psychological tension, which compels you to take action, like plugging in a cable, just to make the sound stop. These precise nudges dictate our day: the ascending chime of subway doors, the mechanical click of a pull-to-refresh feed, and the rhythmic pulsing of a typing indicator that keeps you waiting for a reply. Unlike the accidental hum of traffic, these microsounds are hyper-intentional. They are weapons of design, calibrated to harvest your attention and dictate your behavior. Trapped between the exhausting drone of the city and the relentless pings of our devices, we have developed a distinct coping mechanism. To find relief from an overwhelming soundscape, we no longer seek out silence. We apply even more sound. The rise of active noise cancellation, along with curated audio like ASMR or lo-fi beats, allows us to build private, self-medicating acoustic bubbles to carry through the day. The irony is that to block out the accidental exhaust of the city, we must trap ourselves entirely within environments of engineered audio. This retreat into personal audio solves the immediate biological stress, but it also isolates us from the shared physical reality of our environment. The alternative is a concept known as acoustic ecology. It is the practice of consciously analyzing your sonic environment rather than just passively surviving it. Reclaiming your psychological autonomy begins with mentally sorting the incoming audio. You must learn to identify the chaotic gray hum of the noise and isolate these sharp, brightly colored vectors of the nudges. By paying attention to these specific frequencies trying to move you, you transition from a passive victim of acoustic masking to an active critic of psychoacoustic manipulation. Once you hear the hidden design behind the noise, you stop merely tuning the world out. You finally gain control over how it moves you.